Hello and welcome to Papercrafting Playdate. My name is Robin Armbrecht at Really Robin Stamps, and you are joining me for episode 84 of Papercrafting Playdate today on March 3rd, 2023. I am thrilled that you are going to spend some time with me in my craft room and make some projects together. And what I have planned for us today is some back to basics ideas that you can use with circle punches. So, are you ready to get started? I sure am. Let's look at the desktop here so you can see some amazing cards that I got in the mail. Let me find the comments and we'll chat. All right, so say hi to your stamping friends in the comments. If you're brand new to seeing me live, I welcome you. I'm so glad that you're here. If you have been watching me for a while, I'm tickled pink that you are following me and joining me today. Go ahead and say where you're from and what you're doing on this Friday. If you're watching this on the replay later, I'm so glad you're here too. Thank you for taking the time to rewatch this Playdate. I hope you're going to learn a lot. So look at these amazing cards that I got in the mail. This one came all the way from Hawaii. And isn't that cute with that shimmery paper with those hearts? Little Valentine's Day card. This is from Kathy. Thank you so much, Kathy. I love it. And I love that well, she protected it when she mailed it, but when something travels that far and it doesn't get bent or the embellishments don't fall off, that's quite amazing, right? Thank you so much. This is from Susan. She made me a little sympathy card for my little kitty friend that passed a little while ago. So precious. I love this. I love this stamp. I know it's not Stampin' Up, I don't think, but that is so cute. Thank you for this, Susan. Actually, these two cards are both from Kathy, and I have to show you this up close. This is Emboss Resist. Look at her amazing blending that she did on this card. Gorgeous colors. I was trying to figure out what colors they are. It's like soft suede and Pacific Point together. It's beautiful. And then she's got this great white embossed dandelion on there. This is such a beautiful card, Kathy. Thank you so much. And then this is a great layout too, Kathy. I love this. Looks like a little almost like a belt buckle. I love how the greeting overlaps that. Isn't that cool? Thank you so much. Love getting cards in the mail, don't you? You have to make sure that for all the cards that you make that you are absolutely sending them out as well. So let's just take a minute and see who is here. Hi, Lisa. Lisa's brand new from Illinois. Where are you at in Illinois, Lisa? Hi, Carol. Hi, Mary and Joan. Sharon. Hi, Wendy and Sue. Hi, Julie and Susie and Sharon and Lee. So today is actually storming outside, so hopefully we won't lose internet. It is like what I imagine a tropical storm to be, except it's cold. It is like so windy and rainy, and it's just it's a really good day to be in the craft room and doing getting my mind off of the wind. I hate the wind. Wind drives me nuts. All right, so one other little tidbit before we jump in. This we talked about this last week, so it looks like I have a dog. On Wednesday, March 1st of this week, Stampin' Up! Released a bunch of online exclusives. This is a new program where they're going to try to introduce a series of products in between catalogs. And so this was the first time they're trying it. And this little flyer, you should have received an email from me. This little scan bar can take you right to all the items online, or you can just go online to stampinup.com and click on online exclusives so you can see them all. Because this flyer doesn't list everything that is available. So there's stamp sets, there's some bundles, there's punches, and this is the reason for my video today, is the circle punches are back in the store. So we have a 1 3/4 inch and a 2-inch circle punch. And this is just like made my whole week to be able to put these back into circulation, because we've been out. We haven't had circle punches. They're so basic and so simple, and in my mind, so crucial to stamping projects. So I decided that today's focus is going to be completely around what can we do with circle punches. Last item of business, it's a new month, so there's a new Hostess Code for me. So I like to reward you monthly if you choose to order from me. I really appreciate it. Obviously, of course I do. So I always put together a little something different to either help you build your stash or to help you in your card making. And so this month there is a card making kit, and it's going to include this little gift box. So the cards that you make, you can give away if you want, or you can use the card holder in a different way. And you're going to get these 4 yards of ribbon, some sequins, and then a piece each of this Hostess exclusive paper. So you're going to get a 4x6 sheet of all 12 of those designs, and then 6 card bases. So it'll be the perfect amount to make cards to put in here, or to play with, and you'll have some leftovers. So there will be a video for all the people that earn this kit to show you what I'm going to do with the papers if you want to copy what I do, or you can do whatever you want with them, and there'll be a PDF too. So that is my reward to everybody. This comes from me, so at the end of March, everybody who's placed a $50 order and used the Hostess Code will receive this. So let's put that over there. Okay. All right. Oh, hello everyone. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, first project. I'm going to stand up. Because that's how I stamp. All right, so we have these circle punches back, and hopefully you already have them in your stash. But if not, I'll probably be able to convince you that there's a place for them in your craft stash. So one of the things that I like to do with circle punches is just make a background. So we're going to do a very simple card to get started making backgrounds. So I thought I would use the Fancy Flora designer series paper, and I threw in a couple of the ginghams, because don't forget, these ginghams aren't just for Valentine's Day. If you have this pack, the colors of the gingham paper match so many of the other paper packs. And so I'm going to do a petal pink card, and then I'm going to build a card front on the same color. So what we're going to do is just find the colors that we like, and we're going to punch out circles. This is a therapy card, right? When you make a background like this, this is fun. I'd love to know what you have been making lately in your craft room. Okay, so I'm just trying to pick colors that go together. So I'm lining up this punch upside down so that I can see exactly what I'm going to punch out. And let's do one of So now we're just going to play with them and see how they go together. Okay, so I'm just going to create a little background. And then we're going to emboss it. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. So some of the circles are going to hang off the edge just to make the background interesting. So I have 2 large ones and 3 small ones. I think I'm going to re-punch one in the bigger punch. So I have 3 larger ones. Let's try this green. Okay, so we're not going to overthink this. So some of these are 1 3/4 inch circles and some are 1 3/4 inch. Carol is making St. Patrick's Day and Easter and birthday cards today. Isn't it just the greatest day to be in the, Carol lives here in Springfield. It's like miserable outside. Okay, so I'm just gonna arrange these like that. And you know what? I'm just gonna put this one on too. It's already cut. Put it right there. All right, so this is just gonna be a basic background. It's very simple. We'll trim off the pieces that hung over the edge. Are you kidding me? Judy says that the circle punches that she heard they're already sold out. That's crazy. Stampin' Up! Should know better about stocking punches. So perhaps this is a learning month for them. All right, so here's the background. I have a feeling these are going to continue to be available. So if they're not available right now, I believe very strongly that they will be. So now that I have this background here, I'm going to emboss it. And one of the new items is a set of embossing folders. This is on online exclusives. There's actually 3 of them, but I'm not sure where the 3rd one went. But you get the, oh, here it is. You get them as a set. They come together for $30. And they're just these nice little small prints. So they're great for this technique, which to me just, it's like, kind of like, you know, making a quilt type of thing, because when you put the paper on and then emboss the whole thing, it just like melts the designer series paper right into the cardstock in such a delightful way. So I'm going to use the little crosshatch one. And so now it looks like that, you know, it just kind of melts them together. It looks like it was meant to be that way, and created your own kind of background paper. So put this on our card front. Isn't that pretty? And all it needs now is a greeting. So I'm going to pull out some of these colors and put a greeting together. And I'm going to use this, the little pops of blue, which are Starry Sky, and that's what I'm going to create my greeting. So if you're new to using punches, and you're going to have something stamped on your punch image, you always want to stamp it first and then punch it out. That way you have control of centering your punch around whatever it is that you stamped. All right, so this is going to be the greeting. Hey, Sherry. Everybody say hi to Sherry. She's my college buddy. I don't think you've ever caught me live, Sherry. And she lives in Canada. Okay, so now what we have to decide, let me zoom out just a little bit so you can see this. So I took a moment to play with the circle punches and put them together with all of our other punches to, you know, create some layouts. Okay, so obviously there's other things that could be in place of a white circle, but I just wanted to focus on what could you layer with the white circles. And so this was a lot of fun to put together. I will scan it and have it as a PDF that you can download if you want to have this as a reference, because it's so helpful. And so everything's listed here from top to bottom as it's layered together. So you could choose like any of these to finish off this card. It just creates a simple focal point. So I'm going to do this one right here, which uses the decorative circle punch and then the two circle punches together. So I've already done that one, and I'm trying to decide. I think I will do the other 2-inch circle punch in the orchid color, and then we'll pull in our Calypso coral. Yes, Wendy, I did my homework. I was so giddy to have those punches back that I just couldn't wait. I couldn't wait. Cute. Now, where that can go anywhere on this card front. That will be the hard part. But we're going to keep it very simple. Here's some new ribbon that is available. There's gold and silver, real nice and thin. Unwrapped here. Just gonna make a little Z. Oof. Put a lot of adhesive on there. And then we'll pop this up. So Connie asked about the ribbon. So the gold actually looks like it has a little bit, you know, of ivory or white on the inside. But the silver is all silver. Hey Jan, is all this from the online collection? No, actually this paper is in the mini catalog. This is in the mini catalog. So just the punches that I'm using and the ribbon for this particular card are on the online exclusive. I'm not sure, Connie. Connie's asking if we had this ribbon before. We've had something similar to it, but this seems just a little bit different to me. I know what you're talking about, the one that was in the past. This feels just a little bit different texture maybe than that one we had. So let's make a little bow here. Yeah, it ties pretty well. Just save that for something. Well, maybe we'll add it here. Add a little more pop. Okay, last thing we're going to do is just add some embellishments. These are the iridescent pastel gems, and I liked that the colors match. So even though these go with a different suite, I believe, I really like it with this paper. Use some of the well, I don't know that it needs that, but it's certainly a cute little bow. All right, so I'm just going to leave that and keep it very simple as a little simple thank you card. Now here's a version where I just used more of the blues. Oh, it's snowing and sleeting out now. What a crazy day. One of the online exclusives is this set of dies called Radiating Stitches. This is really unique. I love it because the stitches are perpendicular to the edge instead of going along, you know, parallel to the edge. Beautiful frames, 2 circles. So just think you can add, if you cut out some circles too, you could have 4 different sizes with those. And so I just took the piece that I created with the background and I just used the frame on it just to see how it would work. And then I used the heart. So I just wanted to play with it a little bit. I mean, I actually love how it's when it's embossed like this, but I think it turned out cute. The thanks so much is with another new bundle, and I'm going to show it to you in a minute. It's the fern bundle. This is an older PDF that I made with other punch combos. This is a PDF that's already on my blog. So I will put these together when I scan this one so that there's a 3-page PDF for you to use. Okay, and then here's another one with that little bumpy background or embossing folder that comes in the 3. Okay, so this one I stamped on it too. Simple, but it's fun to just take any punch shape and make some backgrounds. All right, let's do another thing with circle punches. So this time I'm going to make a slimline card. So this is Pool Party, and it measures 8.5 by 7, scored at 3.5. And I want to just make like I guess I'm going to call it like a glamorous card, and use this dry brushed metallic paper because it's just so shiny and beautiful. So we're going to make it even extra glamorous by adding some of this soft succulent, and kind of get all these blues going. So this is from the Fine Shimmer pack of paper. So this is where the dry brushed metallic is. That's on page 43. But I'm combining that with the Fine Shimmer paper on this fancy floral suite page. So a lot of these colors coordinate together. So definitely think outside the suite when you're putting things together. All right, so I already punched out my circles. And we're going to make some little bubbles with the alphabet a la mode letters. So the Slimline card is perfect for spelling something out. And so we're going to spell out hello. Oof. So I'm going to cut right into the circles, and I'm going to try to get them centered for the most part. And I'm just looking, I'm going to, if I can tell that the dry brush is kind of going in one direction, I'm going to make sure that they kind of match. So you can do this technique even if you don't have alphabet dies. You could kind of do this layering technique with just another smaller punch that you could punch out of the circle first. All right, so let's put this shiny little strip on here. Right on the fold. And then what I'm going to do is turn these upside down. So I'm using the negative. And I'm going to glue the gold behind it. So I'm just putting some glue right around where the letter is for this first part. And then we're going to just cover that up so that we can get that shiny gold letter. I wish you could look out my window right now. It was just pouring rain and now it's snowing. Whew. I'm gonna just close the shade is what I'm gonna do. Okay. So the O is the only letter here that has like a center that you still need. So I'm going to position that by just putting my letter back in first. I'm not going to adhere it down. And then I'll set this inside. And then we'll take that back out. Okay, so here we have our hello. And so we're gonna just put these right across the card. Look how sparkly this is. I realized I don't think that I make a lot of sparkly cards. I don't think. And then the two end ones, we're just gonna go off the edge a little bit. Over a little bit. Should really have put the H and the O on first and then filled in. But my liquid glue allowed me to move that around. All right, so I'm going to press that down. Ooh, that's shiny. All right, so the last thing I want to do on here is add a little embossing as long as we've got all of this going on. And I really I was looking for a sentiment that would go with hello, like hello friend, something like that. And so I really liked this Dear Friend from the Sentimental Park. And so let's make it gold. And we'll just put our Dear Friend right down here with some Versamark ink. All right, got a little bit of extra there. I'm going to just take the sticky tip and go around where some of that powder wouldn't shake off. Okay, what do you think of this very shiny, happy card here? So I loved the little space that was in between here. So I'm going to put some of these gold faceted sequins. Right there. All right, I kind of like how that looks. Yes, Kathy, I saw that idea. Somebody did that with this tool to just, you know, if you've got that little bit where if you used a brush, you would probably brush off some of your gold powder, but the little sticky end will pick up that powder as well. Of course, then you need to change out the tip because it's going to dry out that clay. And so you just kind of pull off the part that isn't sticky anymore and then twist it up and get a little bit more flowing out there. This works a lot like a cookie press. You know, you turn it to get it the dough to start coming out, but then you have to turn it backwards to make it stop coming out. So you get a little bit and not a really, really long a long piece that's hard to work with. All right, so there is another idea with the circle punches to kind of make a little negative and then put something on the back like that. Here's another hello, but in a vertical card with the Regency Park paper. And then here's just a real simple one, but actually I think my favorite, to spell out happy. Okay, so the next thing I want to do with the circle punch is to do a simple fun fold. Like the shiny one, Kathleen? Thank you. All right, so this is an oldie but goodie fun fold, and I really couldn't find a good name for it. So I'm just calling it the circle flap fold. All right, so we're going to create with this bundle, Tropical Leaf, not Fern, Tropical Leaf bundle. This is where that thanks so much that I used on the first card is from. So for this particular fun fold, you need a half sheet of paper cut long, 4 1/4 by 11 inches. Then we're going to score it. And then you really need like 3 pieces of 4 by 4, and some go on the inside and some go on the outside. So you can kind of decide what you want, or you can just do some stamping. And then the flap has this piece, which I'm not going to do that, but I'll show you where it goes if you want to cover it with designer series paper. So we're going to score this at 4 1/4. And then 8 1/2. So basically it's making a square card with a flap. And then we're going to do something really fun with our circle punch. So it's a trifold would be a better name for it. So I'm going to fold these in. Like this. And I'm just going to readjust my score line here because I want this flap to be able to open and close really easily. All right, so this is the front of the card. So it's a square card as we start out, and there's the flap, and then here's the inside. So the pieces that I told you were 4 by 4. I'm going to put 2 white pieces on the inside, and then I'm going to put this on the outside to decorate. So if you wanted to also decorate the flap with a piece of designer series paper, then you would do this size right here. Okay, so I have the pieces for this tropical leaf set. So let's make some leaves. This stamp set is kind of refreshing because it's so simple. The pieces are simple, but yet really easy to use. I'm going to grab a piece of scratch paper in case I need to stamp off. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is make some leaves. And because this is photopolymer stamp set, I'm going to, and there are lots of surface area, very flat, I'm going to make sure I have my piercing mat under there. Okay, so I'm going to use Pool Party and Bermuda Bay, but my card base is actually Coastal Cabana. These 3 colors are really good friends, and they work really well together. So I'm going to use Pool Party. Our main greeting here. Hello. And then I'll do the same with the bigger leaves. So there's 2 sizes of leaves. And they kind of are exactly the same, just one's small and one's large. The punch works with the large leaf. So I'm going to use Bermuda Bay to do the veins in the leaf. And then let's make one of the leaves Bermuda Bay. So I have a little piece of lint on the stamp. That's why I got that little hole there. So let's do that one again. There we go. And then I'll make the veins on this one a little bit darker, like that. Okay, so let's use the punch. On those two. And then we're going to use our small 1 3/4 inch punch on this. Okay, so there's our pieces. I'm going to do some stamping on my flap instead of putting the Designer Series paper on there. And I'm going to use this very cute little XOXO stamp. I mean, how cute are these sayings? Love you lots. Hello. Thanks so much. Very fun. So I'm going to just make a little background with some Pool Party ink. And then I'm going to clean off my stamp. And I'm going to add some Whisper White ink, just to kind of add a nice little two-toned element here. Like that. Okay, so we're ready to put this fun fold together. So this is the cool thing and why you use the circle punch. So what you're going to do, this is an old idea that is so much fun. So you need to have punches of 2 sides. So it works perfectly for to have the 1 3/4 and the 2 inch punch. So from either edge on this flap, you're going to punch the larger hole. So the 2 inch circle punch is what I'm using. And you're just going to center it right over that flap score line and make the hole right there. Cute. Let's stamp these before I put them inside the card. That would be a good idea. So here is these fun little vines or stems, I guess. And I'm going to just cross those so there'll be a top and a bottom there. We'll just make a little gathering of what kind of leaf is this? Does it have a name? Does somebody know what this leaf is? Okay, so let's stay focused. So I want this to be here. I don't want that piece to show through the circle. So what we're going to do is attach it, and then we will re-punch that circle. so that's the inside. Okay, so the outside, I'm going to put this piece of, this is Bermuda Bay Designer Series paper. I love the plaid. So here's the fun part with this little hole, and this is why I called it a circle flap. So this was 1 3/4, so that's going to fit here. And so we need our 2-inch punch out of a coordinating color. So I'm going to use the Bermuda Bay. And these are going to get attached right here. Have you guys made one of these? This is fun. I haven't done this for a long time. Anyway, it's going to get attached here, and then it will, when it opens and closes, it goes over that circle. So let's put this together first. Okay, so you just need adhesive where this circle is going to get attached to the bottom part of the card front. Again, with the liquid glue, that's going to let me just kind of wiggle it around a little bit to make sure that it works. I'm going to readjust this here, like that. So now we've got, do that. So even though this is a 4-inch square card, it's still going to fit in an envelope, because when you add that little circle, it makes it about 5 1/4 inches. So I'll fit in. Okay. So all we need is just to do a little decorating here with our leaves. We'll pop this one up. Does anybody know a different name for this particular card fold? I did a little research on Pinterest, but most people were just calling it a fun fold. Oops, I put my dimensional too low. Let's pull that one off. And we'll restick it over there. Who wouldn't want that sweet little fun card? And we'll put our love you lots on the inside. All right, what do you think of the circle flap fold? Let's put the ink pads away, and then we'll add a little embellishment to this. I don't know what I'm going to do if these black matte dots go away. Just put them on everything. They just look so elegant. there's the finished card. Charlene, you're right. It really is very simple. The hardest part is just getting that lined up. But like I said, if you use the liquid glue, then you have a little bit of time to just adjust it to make sure that your flap is folding over. Okay. Obviously, you could put designer series paper in here too. You could actually put it up there as well. You could dress it up in a lot of different ways. So that's a Circle Fun Flap card, and I have this one here with our little Easter bunnies. Okay, so tropical leaf bundle, something a little bit different, something for summer, but again, pretty easy to use stamp set. All right, this is our fourth and final little idea with circle punches. So we're going to do another kind of window card that I'm calling a pop-out swing card. So you need a card base folded in half. And then you need a piece of neutral cardstock that is 5 by 8. And you score it every 2 inches, which I've already done, 2, 4, 6. So these are 2 inch. And then if you want to cover some of these panels with designer series paper, this is the size for that. Okay, so this goes together pretty easily. So this is our card base. And then I used a piece of the new Irresistible Blooms. And just made a trimmed sheet. So I kind of showed these last time. So these are part of the online exclusive, some beautiful new papers with some retired colors, which are going to come back. And so we kind of hinted a little earlier in the comments, you were talking about the color refresh. And so what that means is every 5 to 7 years, Stampin' Up! Just changes in and out some of the colors, brings some back, maybe adds some new. And so a lot of times former in colors will come back and they'll stick them in into the color family. So they've hinted that the Lost Lagoon and the Pretty Peacock that are in this paper are coming back. So, I mean, that is not confirmed, but it seems highly likely. So we talked about last week, just like who still has those colors. But where do you think, if you were in charge of the Stampin' Up! Catalog, where would you put it? Let's say Pretty Peacock comes back. Would that be a Regal, or would it be, what do you think? Or a Bright? All right, so what one of the features of this beautiful paper is that it works with the dies, and this is a new thing that Stampin' Up! Has been doing with almost every package of designer series paper, and it's just brilliant. So the flower dies work with 2 sheets of this paper, and then the leaf dies also work with 2 sheets. So you can cut out a bunch of things. Even this little tiny guy gets cut out. So this makes it really easy to use your paper in another way. So I went ahead and already cut a bunch of those out to use. So the first thing we're going to do is glue this on, and then we're going to make our window. Yes, Regal, you think those are Regal? Yeah. What about Lost Lagoon? Does anybody remember that color? Where would that one go? It's not, it was like a medium blue. It wasn't, definitely wasn't a bright. Okay, so what we're going to do is use the larger 2-inch circle punch. and we're going to create a window in the front. So I'm going to just do it in this corner right here. And then this piece you can save for something else. And then we're going to put the insert inside, and then we're going to refill this hole with another layered punch, and it's going to be kind of movable, which is why it's called a pop-out swing. So this piece goes on the inside. Again, this was 5 by 8, scored every 2 inches. And so we're going to fold it in half. It kind of starts out going backwards like a my mind's blank what that card's called. And so it kind of gets folded like this. And it creates this little swing feature. So if you fold it in half first, then one goes one way and one goes the other way. So, and it fits in the card like this. So the first thing we're going to do is adhere it here. So it's going to go right here. Part of it's going to stick out of the window, whatever shape you make it, and that it doesn't actually show when the card is opening and closing. Okay, so let's attach that first. And I'm going to use my Seal Plus. And you put adhesive on 3 sides, the top and the bottom, and then the side that's going to go right next to the score line of the card front. So it's going to go right here. And then this goes over here. And this one you can attach all the sides. Okay, so I'm just going to close that, make sure it's straight, and it is. Okay, so this is just like creating this little pop-out piece. And when you attach your focal point there, it swings between the front and the inside, which is why it's called the swing. All right, so I'm going to cover a couple of these with Designer Series paper. I know, Lynn. I know. I wish I could close my window right now because it's oof. Snowing. Oh, and it's thundering. Can you hear that thunder? It's snowing and thundering. That's fun. Here's where my message is going to be. Okay, again, this isn't going to show because what we're going to put on the inside. So I already have this piece of Blushing Bride cut out, and then we're going to take one of these greetings, which I already put on a block. We're going to use Hooray, It's Your Day. I'm going to add a little bit of our Flirty Flamingo. And I'm going to stamp it off because I want it to be a little bit lighter. Oh, this is the best piece in this whole stamp set. If you need therapy, do this on a whole piece of cardstock. Whew, that's delightful. And then I'm going to bring in our card base color, which is the soft sea foam. And we'll just put a couple little leaves there. All right, let's see where our circle punches this out. You heard the thunder. That's crazy, right? Oh. Okay, so this attaches to this side. So everything that's on the right side of this score line, that's where it gets attached. So you keep it closed and you add your adhesive and then you just pop that back in. Okay, so I'm going to press it down over here too. That's the little pop-out swing. All right, that's pretty fun. So here are all the beautiful flowers I cut out, and I just thought, well, let's just put a couple on there. And the leaves. And call this done. All right, if you have circle punches, I know probably a lot of you already have circle punches, so you don't need to worry about them being on back order, but they'll come back. I'm positive they're going to come back. You've got hopefully some ideas of things that you can just get out those circle punches again if you haven't for a while. And make some things. So I'm just going to tuck all these little leaves over here. Okay, pretty easy. Pretty easy. These are fun folds, and you can use your circle punches, or you can actually use any dies for this card, and that works out really nicely too. So let's do a couple of these iridescent pearls because they're just so pretty. All right. Okay. Let's review. I worked your brain hard. I worked my brain hard today. So we have 2 fun folds that you can make with circle punches. So we have the pop-out swing. Oh, here's my other sample. I came back to this old friend here that I just love this paper to make a birthday card. Lovely in linen. So much fun. Little sparkles. Okay, so that's the pop-out swing card. And then we have our circle flat fold. And then we have, what do we call this? Our negative letters. That sounds negative. So we did some slimline cards with letters, and then we did a background with some circle punches. All right, what are you going to try first? What is your favorite? Let's continue the conversation about these cards and circle punches. Thank you for sticking with me today and letting me show you my tried and true punch friends, the circle punches, and kind of revisiting all the things that you can do with the circle punch. It's not all. My list was really long. It's probably like 3 videos worth of things you can do with circle punches. But I had so much fun putting these cards together for you, and so I hope that you got 1 or 2 ideas that you can take right to your stamping space and make some cards for the people that you love. So join in the conversation and give me a chat, and I just appreciate so much